Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button, get that bell notification on too, so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel, where last episode we did some provincial roads, we did some road tweaks, some road fixes, and you know, every now and then it's really nice to get a video like that. And let me know what you think about that kind of editing style for that video if you enjoyed it. Lots more kind of fast-paced speed throughs. But still in like one consistent kind of cut. So yeah, let me know what you think about that, because in the future I'm thinking about kind of transitioning into a bit more of that style of a video, and I'm going to be trying it out for the entire month of October. I'm also going to be cutting back on the videos, but you'll get higher quality videos with you know, more time. Usually, you know, for the typical Cities by Steven videos, it's almost about an hour of just one cut pretty much, but in actual gameplay footage, Monday's video was about an hour and 45 minutes, sped up and condensed into that. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. So what is in store for today? Well, you know, I love dogs. Dogs are great. I'm a dog person. I have a dog. His name's Kevin. He's very cute. And you know, there's been some suggestions lately to, you know, build more dog parks, name a dog park after Kevin, and why don't we build a massive dog park? Not just, you know, place down the asset, but why don't we build an actual, true off-leash dog park? And I can't get enough of that idea. I love it. And, you know, there's lots of dog parks. I've been to tons of dog parks. Every weekend, I take my dog to one, and he just has a blast and a half. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to take some inspiration from some dog parks that I've seen in my adventures with little Kevin, and yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. And at the same time, we'll also be looking at the town of Ordway, because we'll be building out that way. So in the past few weeks, we have built up Walsenburg, and then we built up this, so the oil industry interchange, which I'm sure we could probably take off that term for now. So why don't we do that? We'll hop into districts. There we go. Remove that. So it's a fun little park though. I think I need to spend just a touch more time, you know, fixing and tweaking the last little details of it. And it has a provincial highway that runs all the way over here and out of the map. And then it also goes all the way over here and out of the map. So I think that is definitely useful. Now, in actual game time, there hasn't been a lot of time in between the two episodes, so I don't even know if there's any cars on this yet. Let's see. There is not. Perhaps I need to check that mod that I have going on for the unlimited outside connections mod. So I'll definitely take a look at that. But it looks like people are using this, but not on this side. So yeah, I'll definitely need to check on that. So if there are any comments about that on Monday's video, hey, I caught it in this video. So I'll fix that afterwards. So Ordway, here we go. It's a town that kind of spawned up on the other side of the downtown core. We built a bridge over here. This was the first bridge across the Arrow River from Fort Prairie area and Prairie Station. Here, why don't we hop into this view? So this was the first bridge to come across, and it was a big ordeal to for the city at that time to cut through this cliff so that they could get a nice clean road. And then it comes into here, we get into this roundabout, and it splits off into two different directions. One of them goes to Walsenburg and then it connects up to the highway. The other one goes over this way and will eventually connect up to the highway itself over here. And I guess technically through this little exchange, it does connect to the highway anyways. So yeah, this little pocket kind of came up. You know, it's really buildable land. It's really close to the downtown core. At the time, I'm sure it was just a small town at best, and this town probably spawned up as just you know, a junction between two corners of roads. So why don't we hop in and we'll look at kind of the starting roads for the town and what to do with this roundabout, because I think we're going to bridge across this river, and that's going to be important for the dog park. So we'll start off with that. So here is the roundabout, and my kind of thinking is that the original road was this one coming through the Ordway cut, and then it just went straight right through. Then there was an old bridge across here that they have clearly modernized, and that one went out over into here. And any thing over this way, they probably would have taken this turn and then crossed twice instead of this massive crossing. I would think that this crossing was a bit more modern, and I think we played into that pretty well with how this bridge kind of curves in to the grid, and it doesn't kind of dictate the grid. So this kind of looks like perhaps a large project in the 70s, perhaps, where they added in this bridge. They probably, you know, took some houses, took some previous roads out here so that they could get this nice smooth connection over here. So that means in my situation here, I think this is going to be a newer road, and this is going to be the older road. But, you know, with the cross section here, they definitely built a roundabout. There's too much traffic for just a simple junction, and that is why we have what we have today. And I think the first step we're going to need to do is to build a bridge across here. Now, I'm just going to basically run it straight across from the roundabout, and then I will readjust the heights afterwards. So we'll grab this one, we'll grab this one, and we'll grab this one, and we'll just adjust it to a height that we deem acceptable for the river. The river definitely swells. I'm sure people use this river to canoe under or boat under, but I don't think it's really that important to get that elevated because there's not really any strategic importance for it. So I think we can actually get it a bit lower, seeing as this river probably does swell in the springtime. So we'll get it to that height, and then we'll do something really simple here with the network multi-tool, where we'll go from this node that we just sloped right to here, and we'll just get that to slope itself. And then I think in turn what we're going to need to do is increase the size of this roundabout to 3 lanes. So we'll go 3 lanes, no parking. We'll upgrade this road. All right, that just kind of reminds me, I'm just going to check to make sure that there is no extra nodes. There is not. Okay, fantastic. So now we can cross this river pretty good, and I like that. I think for now what we'll do is we'll just connect it right up into here, and then we'll leave it for now. So let's look at the topography. Got a bit of a hill here. I think perhaps we can get the connection right at this point. So let's do that. Okay, fantastic. So we exit the roundabout, and then we slight curve up here, and then we connect up into this road. So that's kind of like a bypass for this one. And I think it's important to get a couple connections onto this provincial highway, and I think that is probably going to be suitable enough. I can definitely see us perhaps turning this into a roundabout itself, and even crossing the river here again, but that is way long in the future plans. Okay, so Ordway, I would feel that either this road was the main road of Ordway, and then they attached onto it in the 70s, probably from about right here, and then they brought that to connect Walsenburg and Ordway together, or perhaps what would happen is this is a bypass road for an old main road that kind of ran parallel to this one, and I think that's probably the one that I'm going to go with, and then we'll run another bypass road right in here. And the reason why I'm doing this first is because it's going to play into what I want the dog park to be. In the dog park, I'm going to run pretty much along the entire waterfront of this town, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So first of all, let's grab the just any road really, and I would like to look at the topography. So we're pretty flat, and I think what we're going to do is actually remove these trees from this section, and almost entirely, just for now. All right, get out of this, please. And, oh, go back to the topography. That's what I need. Yeah, so we're pretty much at a good height here. I think we can even just go right from this bridge. And I think we can just pretty much have a nice, just really simple, light curve. And then we can even just connect right up into here. So pretty much right after the bridge, you'll have to choose if you're going left to go into the bypass lane or straight to go into the roundabout. And the reason why it's important to get a bypass here is, one, if you're going in this direction, if you wanted to go to the left, you need to take the entire exit, all 3 exits to get to here. So in this case, we're just kind of bypassing that one exit. And then in this case, we're just kind of shortcutting this one exit here, which will help free up the roundabout for the steady traffic coming from the downtown core via the Ordway cut, or out of city traffic from here. So yeah, I'm thinking about how we're going to take this left-hand turn approach. And one thing that you do often see is, sometimes they go straight and then it kind of slowly curves and back in. And I think that could be an interesting option for us instead of having this sharp left-hand turn, because it is almost a 360-degree turn, and that is not cool. Sometimes also I've seen you get off on the right-hand side and it'll swoop out, and then you connect at the 90-degree angle, and then you take the left. So, I mean, either one I think is an interesting approach, and I think we're going to take the second approach to it, just because I think it might be a little less confusing. I don't know. I think this would be pretty confusing as a driver, but hey, I've seen it before, so I'm going to do it in this case. And so we'll do that. And then right about here, there'll probably be tons of warning signs that this is happening. Like no left-hand turns. The left-hand turn for this area, you got to take a right first. And I think that would be pretty interesting. Okay, fantastic. So let's go into here, and what we'll do is we'll kind of do something like this. So this one is just straight on. There's no other turn that we need. That is all that's necessary for this. But here we have this one going that way and this one going that way. We already see that, so we don't need to. But this one is just a yield into here. So I actually think we need to grab this node and pull it back more, because I really want this to be a much more of a gradual curve. And we'll throw a light on in this situation. I think that would probably be the most likely scenario in this case. So why don't we kind of make it the most likely scenario? It's probably not the best for game physics, but I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So yeah, there we go. A bit of a complex interchange, but or an intersection, but I think it's going to work out in the end. So this is just a bypass road, so I don't want it to be anything special, but I'm sure that the town has kind of turned it into a pretty major thoroughway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that it's paved, it has street lights and everything like that. But right in here, we can flip that around again and have it like so. All right. So now that we got that in place, I think we can kind of look at what the old main road is probably the old main road is probably doing. So here's the roundabout. This was the first road through here, which I think can probably use a bit of an upgrade, seeing as it's a bit of a larger road now. I like the idea of keeping it at one lane through here, but I think we can definitely improve that a bit. So we're gonna increase it to a national road. Yeah, I think so. Now, people won't be able to walk along here, but I'm sure we'll have different walking paths available to us. So we'll turn it into a national road. We'll even put sound barriers on it. And this will definitely increase everyone's capabilities of traveling fast through this area. But one thing we're going to do is make sure that we have this dedicated turning lane here. We could even have it on this side, so we're going to need to turn it into elevated. And I think we're going to need an extra node in here. Looks like we do have that node. So I'm a bit surprised that it wasn't just letting us just upgrade this. then now technically people will be able to walk through here, but not in this direction. So maybe this was a mistake and we should have done this with normal roads all along. And you know what? Sometimes it's just good to kind of, you know, you have your plan in mind, you have the theme in mind, but sometimes it just doesn't work out once you see it built. So that is totally a-okay. And I do like the idea of keeping it at 1, but why don't we do this? But you know what? I'm kind of struggling to figure out where this main street would be. But there is one item that I really want to get in this town, and that is a unique building. And I want that building to be right in here. So in order to do that, we're going to need to do the same thing for this road. So I guess we might as well do that. And then we'll upgrade this road with a road, and we'll go with the 2-lane road, no parking, the entire thing, until we get back up to here. Okay, fantastic. So I want to get a building in here, and I don't exactly know how it's going to work out with the roads exactly, but I know where I want the building itself. So I'm just going to build a road, and then we're going to plop the building down, and it's this one. Why exactly this building? Well, this building looks to me exactly like the type of building that we'd see in this situation. It's an older town that probably got an early mall. To me, this mall looks like a mall that was built in the 50s or not the 50s, the 60s at least. And to me, it just screams to me to face the main intersection that once was, but is now a roundabout. So we could try and run a connection like this right across between these two roads. I think that's fine, but I think we need to back it up if we were to do that. But if we're backing it up anyways, we would probably try and sneak a road around, especially to bypass some of this nonsense, which would mean that there would probably be a main connection road between these two at some point. And why don't we put that right about in this node? And we'll make this a major avenue. I think that works. And then we'll have perhaps the main road running between these two as like the first old town, and perhaps you can have the main connection point here as being a road that once connected into this main intersection that once was, and then they built this road that kind of destroyed the old road that connected up into here. And we'll have the main street running through like this, and I'm sure this whole area would flood a lot, so that's why the town is built kind of up on the hill. So I think that makes sense. I think we can kind of have a bit of a theme around that. And again, we'll go with the road with no parking, and we'll connect it up right about here. So it's not exactly in the middle here. And then what we need is also maybe a 1-unit road. Now, you know, the title of the episode is a dog park, and we haven't built the dog park. Why are we building this? Well, I think it's important to establish the main town before we do the dog park, because I think it's going to be a major part of the story of the town itself and why there's a massive park down here. And I think it's just important for us to get the kind of main town in first before we get into the park itself. All right, so we got this in place, and I really wanted to get this one in because we can fill this up with some parking lots. It can be a really simple thing, and I feel like if this was at one point, a main intersection here, having the old mall back in the day of the automobile would be really, you know, acceptable, and I think it would probably have drawn attention for all the people driving around. It's kind of looks like that kind of mall. I've seen them myself. I've seen, you know, pictures of malls like this, so I feel like it would be a pretty cool, cool place to visit. Anyways, so we'll get the main street of the town in, and then we'll look at the dog park itself. So the main street, I think we're gonna do a similar kind of feel to what we did with Walsenburg, and that is use some of these types of roads. So I rather enjoy the trees down the middle roads, and I really like this one here, but I'm also a fan of the ones with the median. So I think we can do this. I think we can get it to be straight the entire time, and then we'll access this area, which is the whole point of this, down right through here. Now this one is just going to be a grass one. And okay, so I think we can see a couple things that we need to fix. So for one, it's this one here. Let's grab this road, and we'll do this. There we go. So we have a dedicated turning lane. This one can flip, and right through here, and have that to be a dedicated turning lane. And I'm sure we can get a couple of road connections. So why was this so important to do? Well, you know, I've seen a town that has this kind of feel to it, where the main street of the town, you kind of drive right in, and then at the end of it is a park. And I've seen this in a couple of examples. Can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head, but I'm sure that you've seen them in your travels as well, where right at the end of the main street is you know, a really nice park where everyone seems to hang out at, and that's what I'm going for. All right, so the reason why I'm looking at this median road is because I'm really curious to see if it blends well with the addition of extra lanes. And it kind of does. It kind of creates these crosswalks here, then it gives us a nice clean main street. Yeah, you know what, I think that turned out rather nicely. Oh, and now that we upgraded this, I need to change the trees back. And then maybe we can even have the older part of the street have these larger trees. All right, so Ordway. Let's fix up the district, because I think it's going to be really important to dictate what's going on inside of this district. And I'm going to be really careful with it, so I'm even going to go past the road, because I'm not exactly 100% confident that if I put this, if I put on what I'm looking for, it will actually work. So I'm going to put on Old Town. And I was worried that if I bump up against the roads, that the trucks wouldn't use the roads that I'm bumping up against. So as soon as something like this happens, that's what I'm worried about. So I'm just going to try and stick within kind of this frame. All my years as a youth, coloring between the lines here is going to come in handy right now. Oh, I think that one's going to be fine. And I'm really worried about this one as well, because I don't think I've ever used Old Town in a build at all. So let's enable theme manager, or Ordway has European suburbia. I think that's perfect. Do high-rise band in case we decide to do a bit of you know, high rises. We'll have just medium density. So Old Town residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicles, ban other motor traffic. So I believe this kind of bans trucks in a way. So that's what I'm hoping for, because I'd rather the trucks use the bypass and the main roads. I don't want them to cut through the town itself. So yep, no, I think we're good otherwise. So yep, now that we got this in place, I think we can decorate the main street here with some commercial. Oh, you know what, I did forget something. For the commercial for this area, I'm gonna say, you know, it was an older town, but since it's so close to the downtown, I think maybe it's been sort of gentrified, and we'll have some organic and local produce through here. I think that'll play really nicely with a bit more of like a modern main street. Perhaps it's not like so much of a historic town as much of an older town. And yeah, so let's try this out, and let's get some commercial right along here. So first of all, let's turn off zoning of this road. There we go. and then this one as well. Don't want zoning on it. And okay, there we go. And we can get this right into here. Okay, and then zoning off of this road. And this one. This one too. So then we can just get a touch more commercial in here. Let's see what that does. Okay, so because we have such a large space through here, I feel like we're going to need a road through here at some point. So are we going to connect it up here, or are we going to connect it up kind of like this? And I think that's going to be what we're going to do. So we have this main street here, I think, or this crosswalk here. I think it's going to be fine if we connect up. And we're going to connect up with just the normal road. I think the normal road works well for small town side streets. So let's bump it down to about right here. And maybe we can make this a bit of a cul-de-sac. I've seen this before. Or, if anything at all. Don't necessarily need to. It can be a park or something. And, oh, we're going to need water over here, of course. Of course I forgot water. And we have water available over here to kind of bring over. So let's just bring it over like so. Right through the Ordway cut. That would be quite the expensive public works project, wouldn't it? All right, so main intersection, and you know, at one point we had, you know, a different intersection here or something like that, so I don't mind kind of throwing it right through the middle of the roundabout. But I think the history of the public works in this town, I don't mind being a bit lax on. We'll bring this one right down through here, and we'll bring it right down the main street like so. And then it looks like we're going to need just to cover those houses. Bring this guy up. And hopefully that's enough. It's not. All right. All good in Ordway. So let's see if there's any other policies. I feel like I'm missing something. Definitely not pet ban. That's definitely not what we're going for. Parks and recreation increases the parks and plazas. Moderately increases land value around parks and plazas. So I don't know if that affects, you know, park life DLC. But let's put it on anyways. And okay, so now that we have this in place, we're not looking for a ton of commercial, right? This is a pretty small town. I feel like this is going to be a bit more of the modern commercial through here. Let's turn off zoning. So there we go. I think that's kind of the main kind of growth of the town. We need the services, and then we'll get in the dog park. So the city cemetery, I think this is a decent enough location for it. It's pretty centralized. At one point, this was probably close enough to the main town. We could go right in here. It's the entire block. I think that could work. We're getting pretty tight with the wall there, or with the road, but I think we can manipulate it enough for it to work. So we can do that. Yeah, why not? Let's bring this one down. Okay, all good. And then I think if we type in church, we have this one asset that goes over top of the steeple here. It makes it seem like a little bit of a bigger church. Then all we need to do is just move it to just kind of, oh no, it was good. Never mind. Oh, it's just barely off of it. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So there we go. So we got some death care in. Let's get some health care. So we'll have a bit more of a modern healthcare unit. Now, I do like saying that this European themed one is a veterinarian clinic, because, you know, why not? There's not a veterinarian clinic in the game, so we could do that. We could throw it right in here, right off the main road. Like that. That works. So that is healthcare. Death care. Now, I wonder if we're covered under the child care from Walsenburg. No, we're not, but I don't think we necessarily need it, so we'll leave it for now. But one thing I do like adding into my Main Street builds is the sauna. The sauna looks really nice along a Main Street, so let's plop that in right here. That works. Okay, now education. I think we only really need a elementary school for this town. And it's pretty tight. So why don't we say there was no elementary school in this town when it was kind of spawned in, and then we'll get an elementary school, a more modern elementary school, when we expand the town from its original kind of holding. So we'll kind of wait on that. A bus line we definitely need. So let's run a bus line. The bus will stop right in the main town, right in the main street right there. And it will run probably into Walsenburg Station, right through here. No stops in between, just a direct kind of run. Just right there, and then we'll run it right back. But we're gonna get it to stop right here first. Nothing fancy about this bus line. Doesn't need to be anything else than that for the time being. And we'll let this all come up, and we'll talk about the dog park. Okay, so why was it so important that we got this town in? Well, I would assume that this road was built on the top of the floodplain, so this river would 100% swell in the winter. Now we are saying this is spring, so you know, in the spring flood, there's so much snow that would definitely be coming down from these mountains, and would kind of flood this floodplain. It looks like a floodplain that just kind of holds water maybe year round. So the reason why this is so low is probably because, yeah, you see it's pretty low with terrain here, is probably because it gets a lot of water running through it into Arrow River in the winter. So this area probably floods all the time. So I wanted to find out where the main extent of the road was and where the main tree was, so we can get an access point down in here, and where this road was, so we could kind of design everything out on this side. And now we're getting into the dog park itself, so let's do it. So we have this main road kind of running through this one, or it's part of Main Street, and you know what, we should name it. Ordway Street, because it is the town of Ordway. And yeah, you know, I really like this. I like this more modern kind of construction in this old town. I think it's pretty unique, so we'll let it all kind of come up. And I don't like this building though, but we'll let it slide for now. Okay, so you know, we have this main road. It comes right into here. I think we're gonna turn it. Let's turn it this way. So let's grab the road here. I'm just gonna back it up a bit so we get a bit more space. Then let's grab the road with the picker mod, and I want this one to be right about here. Okay, and then we'll just do a quick little curve like that. Okay, fantastic. So there's no parking along this road. That is the goal, and it's pretty steep, but you know, I don't think trucks are coming down in here. It's just cars, and we are going to get the main park gate. Oh, where am I? Holy cow! Which is right here. We're gonna get it right. Oh, I didn't go far enough apparently. Right, very nice. Cute little modern town. You know, maybe they've had this massive green initiative or something, I don't know. And then we got the old town with it. I think it's a pretty cool mix. Okay, so I think one thing we need to do is just grab this node and just move it up a little bit. It's throwing me off a little bit. So we got Mulberry Gardens, and thank you JMWZ for this recommendation that we do this. So this is going to be Kevin's Adventure Dog Park. And why adventure? Well, that is the term that I use to coerce him to get into my car, because he's a little skittish in my car. So we say we're going on an adventure, and he gets so excited because he knows that adventure means we're going to either the dog park or his friend's house, or you know, somewhere fun. and not, you know, the vet or something like that. Although, to be fair, Kevin loves the vet because the vets give him so many treats. So he loves going there. But he's always been a little skittish at the car since we've had him. Now, do we end it right there? Yeah, that kind of looks good with me. Okay, so Kevin's Adventure Dog Park. So we need to make sure that it is adventurous for the dogs. Now, this is going to be a mixed use path. So I want people and dogs to walk together and in harmony. And people know when they come here that it's a dog park. So people shouldn't get mad if there is dogs. And so this is the main road here. And then this is the issue. This is a highway. Now, the only thing here for the walkability of this park is I don't want any crossings. I don't want any crossings through here because this is, you know, a highway pretty much. So we have this one intersection here. That is the extent of the crossings. So right in this area, I want to make a parking lot again because this is a dog park. People drive to dog parks. So let's grab just this and we're just going to bump it out a little bit. And let's go with, let's just go with the normal road actually, for this case. So that's right here. And there we go. Let's bring it out to about there. Oh no, is collision off? No, collision is on. That's surprising. All right, so we are having some education problems, but I guess that's pretty normal. So we got that. So pretty much what's going to happen is you pull in from the highway or something right here. Maybe we can get an extra lane in here. And it's just going to be a parking lot. There's not much space to go because it's literally just a parking lot. And I think that is exactly what I'm looking for. So let's remove these trees and we'll go find a parking lot asset. Now we could use a parking lot asset that we haven't used in a little while. And I think it might actually work out pretty well in this case. If I remember where they are, because again, it's been a little while. And yet, it's right here. So, what if we grab this one? Yeah, I think that works. And then we'll just get some really basic parking right in here. Does not need to be anything fancy at all. And we'll just use the extent of what this is. Oh, so I need to use Control X to unlock it. It's been a little while since we've used these parking tools. Mainly because I really like the ones that kind of snap onto roads. Nothing against this one though, because you get to make some pretty detailed parking lots. And yeah, there we go. Fantastic. So let's upgrade this node with the node controller. Alright, so if you're walking from the town, we're going to need to walk, you know, you can take this shortcut, but you're going to need to cross this intersection here, which is not ideal, but there's a whole access point over here that is meant for the dogs as well. I think this is just a realistic kind of solution. And then right at the end here, we'll have our little gate. Maybe we can run another bus really quickly into the downtown, and we'll have this one stop right here, and we'll come this way and we'll go downtown. And why don't we stop somewhere over on this side, just kind of to shuttle people over into the wider world, and it can just come right back for now. And we'll definitely improve the transit in this area in the future, but for right now this is good for what we need. Okay, so back to Kevin's Adventure Dog Park. So we need this. This will pop down right here. I'm going to grab it. We're going to swing it right out over into here. Put it right out like this. And just like so. All right, so let's get another access point somewhere. And I think that... Okay, fantastic. So, again, this definitely floods. So I want to make sure that there is a maintained path, but I want to make sure that there's also dirt paths because, you know, dogs' paws will get really hot in the summer walking on this, but I want to make sure that there is a maintained path underneath all these access points. Now this is a walking path, so it doesn't need to be that tall underneath here, which is why I'm pretty comfortable with this, with doing this. Let's go freeform. Let's turn on topography as well. That will be really useful. And we'll try and follow this terrain line here. Yeah, I think that's definitely high enough to walk through. So we'll leave that access point for the future. And we'll connect this one up like so. Let's just straighten that out really quickly. Nice, great access. Let's just clean up these curves. Let's maybe add in a node right here. Uh-oh, don't know what that was. That's okay. And then I want to make sure that we have an access point over here as well, because we're gonna do something with this today. Okay, so that's all good for now, but the next kind of stage in this project is to connect this park up with Walsenburg. Yeah, this is going to be a little tricky. So this bridge you cannot walk along this bridge. So I want to make sure there's a walking path connection. So I'm thinking we have a bridge coming from right here. We kind of go alongside this bridge, and then we'll kind of go underneath this bridge and connect up. So kind of hang on for this because I'm going to speed through this section. And yeah, so that turned out pretty nicely. Really liked using the parallel tool there. That was fantastic. Okay, so then now pretty much what we need to do is just connect this up, and then we're just going to detail the park really quickly. So let's connect up this, and let's try and stay on the same terrain level as that. Look at that. Holy cow, that turned out fantastic. Let's just try and scooch this little node over until... Oh, no, we're not going to get a smooth connection because that is an elevated piece. And then we're going to need to fix that then so that we have a nice clean thing like that. And here we go. Now Walsenburg and the pedestrian bridge and Ordway are connected with a pedestrian bridge. That is fantastic. And the pedestrian bridge has a hazard in the middle, but that's okay. And yeah, there we go. So Kevin's Fun Adventure Park turns this whole kind of town, connects two towns together. Fantastic, fantastic. We'll just fix this up really quickly, just like that. Okay, fantastic. Love it. Love it. Now let's just upgrade this whole path to paths with trees. We'll take the trees right to here, and that's good with me. I think we're good for the path with trees. And yeah, so this is going to be a bit of a more maintained path, and then we're going to have some fun adventure paths to kind of walk up and down on. And we're going to do that via dirt paths. So dirt paths I like to use as paths that kind of aren't necessarily well maintained, but you know, in this case, I think that we can make it a maintained path. Maybe there's some mulch alongside of it. Oh, make sure collision is on. And then we'll have some more adventure paths all the way up through here. Kind of like this. Just, you know, weaving and diving and ducking and diving all the way through. Connect that one up eventually, and we'll have a nice kind of just simple connection like that as well. So holy cow, lots of little walking paths through here. We're going to have some nice normal park stuff through here, and then right down the middle, we'll have a path down to the waterfront Let's turn on topography here. Let's find that line. So actually I don't think we need topography. I think we can probably just use our eyes here. And again, we said that the river is currently swollen, so I think we can even get a bit closer. All right, so one of the main features of choosing this location for the park is I really wanted a water feature. I find water features in dog parks don't always come hand in hand. And, you know, my little Kevin, he's not the biggest fan of water yet, but I know a tons of dogs that are, and I've witnessed it at these dog parks that are kind of alongside rivers. They just can't get enough of jumping into the water, getting their balls, and, you know, chasing sticks. And I just think it's the cutest thing in the world. And they always come out of the water so happy. And a happy dog is just one of the most amazing and fun things to witness. You know, it's so heartwarming. And we'll have a couple access points like that. There we go. Okay, so now that we have all this, let's get those main park assets in place. So, you know, we could throw like a plaza down. I don't necessarily think this park is that. A cafe, I don't think this park is a cafe kind of park. You know, something that I really think is a blessing is when there is a bathroom at these places. Because, you know, I usually have my morning coffee with me, and, you know, you drink a whole coffee, you gotta go to the bathroom eventually. So, sorry. Let's get that. And, okay, so there we go. We got some restrooms for everyone. I think some gazebos are a pretty nice addition. You know what? I think we're probably good on the gazebos. And then, should we have another bathroom over here? I say yes. I say yes. So, let's do it. Bathroom right here. And, okay. I don't think there's any other park assets that we need necessarily. Because, you know, it's a dog park. It's all good. We don't really necessarily need any lookout areas either. Although, I do rather enjoy the lookout platforms for a variety of reasons. So let's grab this one right here. And why don't we place it not inside a park? Well, let's fix that. Make sure the whole waterfront's in this park. There we go. And let's get a nice little thing over here, because some of these dog walking places that I've seen, they're often kind of like either semi conservation areas, not necessarily full conservation areas, because, you know, then you shouldn't bring your dog to a conservation area. But there's often like these like boardwalk areas where there is like an info about like the river, or, you know, a project that they're doing. And I feel like this is kind of that feel. And this is like right at the main entrance here. So why don't we have like a sign right here? Whoa, whoa. Yeah, for an example, I was at one recently where they were talking about how there was a forest fire here recently, and they've been kind of reaccommodating nature into, like, they've been like I'm not explaining this well at all. They've been reintroducing a lot of different types of trees. It was a marshland that was burned. You know, marshlands you don't really think are forest fires, but you know, in the past 10 years they've seen like a huge revitalization in the area, because they went in and planted trees that they knew would bring animals back to the area. Okay. I think we only really need one of those. We have the park life one, which is right over here, or the city park one. But I think that's probably good enough. Maybe over here we can do that, right off of this one. So we'll place this one down. This one has a picnic table aspect to it, which is kind of fun. Alright, so let's get a couple picnic tables around here. Something that I've noticed as well is there's often picnic tables because people like to take their dog on their big adventure walks and, you know, sit down, have their coffee because, you know, when you're walking your dog, you only really have one hand. So if you need your second hand for something, you got to put your coffee down so you don't always get all the coffee that you're hoping to get. So, yeah, I speak from experience. Okay, so let's grab this path here. Oh, wrong path. Right here. And let's run this right up like this. All right. And, okay, so now I guess we're talking about forest cover. And I think there's a couple more props actually that I want to get in. And then we'll dive into that. So I was looking at some of these. Maybe they could kind of look like dog play kind of zones, but they don't really look necessarily like they're technically dog friendly. So that's why I'm just haven't decided to include them in today's build. But there's lots of cool things that we can do, including some rocks and whatnot. And something that I've noticed that is pretty present along these paths are rocks. And rocks are really good because, you know, they help maintain the soil depth. But something that I like doing is getting Kevin to jump up on top of the rocks and sit for a little treat. But I got a really nice picture of him that I get to save on my phone. So that's why I like the rocks. It's because Kevin loves jumping onto the rocks now, especially because he knows when he jumps onto the rocks, he gets a treat. And who doesn't love treats? So, yeah. So I'll definitely come back through here and remove some of the trees on this path. But I also don't necessarily mind how dense it is over the top of the paths as well. But let's get a couple of these larger ones. Like, holy cow, a nice glacial erratic rock. Alright, now for a dog, they get so tired just sniffing everything, and I would bet there are so many squirrels and so many, you know, little muskrats or something like that, that they would just be going crazy pulling and trying to sniff everything. So let's change the tree to this one. So, you know, we got the basic waterfront done. I think I'll come through here again off camera and add in some more, but you know what this really needs? Is it needs dense forest coverage. Some place where the dog can just, you know, sniff away. And before I forget, this is a dog park. It needs to be fenced in my opinion. Honestly, a farm fence for me is enough. Now, I do know there is a way to do this with the fence, but I haven't necessarily done this. And, you know, if you'd like to see a picture of little Kevin, join our Discord. And I often post pictures of little Kevin because he is so funny. I'm sure everyone says that about their dogs and their pets. But he cracks me up, and I share some pictures in our Discord all the time of little Kevin. So yeah, you know, this is fenced in, but it's not like fully fenced in. There's not like a gate or anything like that. And I think that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. You know, it feels safe enough that your dog is going to be protected if he decides to kind of, if he gets off leash by accident or something like that, you know. yeah, you know what? We'll leave it here. Let me know what you think. So Ordway is a cute little town. We definitely need a little path connection through here, but I got this. Don't worry. We'll definitely make sure we make some of them historical so we don't have some repetition. But I think Ordway is coming along pretty nicely. I think the town's pretty cute. And I'm just doing a little post-edit clip right here, just to show off with the final build of the park, because I realized I wanted to make a quick few revisions, and we're not going to come back to Ordway next episode. So yeah, a bit of an oversight. I forgot to add in open space. Of course, you need open space at a dog park so you can throw the ball around. So I made open space over here, and then we have some open space in this area, and I think this is a good location. It's all fenced in. Everything's fenced in, and then we even have a smaller dog park area for, you know, littler dogs or people who don't want their dogs in such an open space. So we have this over here. I've also gone through and added some better tree coverage, manipulated some of the forest kind of brush to make it all fit in, and I think it looks pretty darn nice. And then if we go over here, we have the mall with way too much parking, and I think that's exactly what we need for this theme, because, you know, sometimes parking lots get removed for other developments. And I've also gone through and made all of the buildings that I want to keep historical, added in a crematorium through here as well, and we have a pretty unique little main street here with no repeated buildings except for these two, but I think the fact that they're facing the opposite directions looks pretty nice. And then we even have a bit of a back lot for the post office. So yeah, I think Ordway turned out pretty nicely. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.